Hey guys, welcome back to Coach's Corner. This week we're taking a look at efficiency of our freestyle stroke in the water and how to best assess that. So we're going to take a look at swimming golf today. Next week we're going to look at our pull kick propulsion test to really dissect where we may be lacking in efficiency or that generation of power each stroke. But we first need to understand if and where we are even losing power in the first place. So just like we don't want to be spinning our wheels and not really going anywhere in the water, we also don't want this extended glide with each stroke where we're losing that speed, losing that momentum on every single stroke, and it's essentially a braking mechanism slowing us down. So swimming golf is going to help us identify the difference between those two and finding that happy medium. Okay, so for swimming golf, which is SWOLF, if you see that in any of your smartwatches, that's what this measure is assessing. However, it's important for you to look at how that smartwatch is assessing this because I'm going to go through how to assess it manually. And the numbers may be slightly different if you're looking at a smartwatch that's calculating it in a different way or for a different distance. So just make sure you're looking into that before you take the information that I'm going to give you and apply it to that number that you see in the watch. Okay. But when you're taking this assessment manually, it's ideal that you're going to use a 50-meter pool. The reason being, this is constant swimming. You're not stopping at the halfway point or doing a flip turn and having that extended kick period coming off the wall. So it's a bit more accurate as far as your stroke count. Now, if you're like me, it's really tough to find a 50-meter pool, especially right now in COVID era. So if you need to use a 25-yard pool or 25-meter pool, that's okay as well. Okay. What I encourage you to do, because it is a 50-meter or 50-yard test, if you're doing it in a yard pool, make sure that you're not stopping at the one end, that you're rather tapping the wall and heading right into your next stroke. So you're not including a large kickoff off the wall that's going to skew our stroke count numbers. Okay, so for swimming golf, lowest score is going to be a better score, just like in golf when you score that hole in one and you're really excited. As we're able to lower this golf score or swimming golf score, that's a good sign for improvement over the course of the season. So typically, I myself, as well as my athletes, I encourage them to do this test about 3 to 4 times a year so that we can continually adjust our drills and adjust our sets to see that improvement in the efficiency and make sure we're headed in the right direction. Okay, so like I said, we're going to complete 50 meters, ideally 50 yards, worst case scenario. You're going to record the time that it takes you to cover that distance. So now you can use just a good old stopwatch to time this because you need it in seconds. That's going to be crucial for the score. While you're also swimming this 50, you're going to count your total strokes that it takes you to cover that same distance. Once you finish the 50, you can rest, you're done with the assessment, but now you need to do a little bit of math. So you're going to add those two scores together. So remember your time in seconds and your total stroke count that it takes you to cover that distance. Okay, and this is going to be your swimming golf score. So remember that SWOLF score. Okay. If you're kind of that average swimmer, you may be anywhere between 50 up through 85, even 90 I've seen for a golf score. Okay. Using these scores, we can take a look then at where we fall and where we may be lacking efficiency. So if you're a shorter individual like myself, so I'm 5'6", anything over 75 for shorter individuals is going to be an indication that we're lacking in efficiency on our stroke. If you're a taller individual, usually that benchmark is closer to the 65 for the total score mark. So just keeping those benchmarks in mind. Now, that's not to say that if you're under those numbers, that you're good to go and you don't have any room for improvement, because as we know, we can always improve our efficiency in the water through drills and through just our sets that we're completing and our distance and mileage that we're completing in the water. So one of the ways that we can incorporate that score and that knowledge of the efficiency into our workouts is by doing sets where we manipulate things like keeping a faster speed while maintaining the same stroke count, or maybe we're going to do sets where we're maintaining speed and now we're lowering the stroke count on each set. Maybe it's on each length that we're doing, but it's a way to really target those 4 phases of the stroke, so that catch phase, pull phase, follow through phase, or exit phase, and our recovery phase, and making sure that we're able to perfect it through that range of motion to see the most benefit out of every stroke that we're taking. Okay, so for incorporating those types of workouts, you may do anything from 10 by 50 yards or 10 by 100 yards, and blocking different groups. So maybe every 2 is focusing on a different tactic. So whether it's manipulating, again, that speed or manipulating the stroke count to really target and work on and improve that efficiency. Okay, so this was a good test for assessing just overall efficiency in the water. Next week, we'll cover that pull kick propulsion test. So it'll help us dissect a little bit deeper into where we may be lacking that power, that efficiency per stroke. So definitely tune in for that so that you can learn some drills you can incorporate to really improve your swimming even more so than you already have. Thank you guys again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you next week at Coach's Corner.